G'day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Zenkai that has come out for obviously good old Purple Android 17. Now Purple Android 17 is a bit of a strange Zenkai. Basically it's a little bit kind of left field. But I think for the most part it's a decent choice. There are some purple units that do need the Zenkai boost. Whether it's enough to bring him into the fold or to bring the team into the fold is obviously something that's a bit difficult to measure. But I think we'll just have to take a look and kind of evaluate that as best we can. So in terms of his Zenkai and in terms of his overall capabilities, I think Purple 17 is probably what I would classify as a bench unit overall, more so than a unit you want to prioritize placing into your team, but that could be something to adjust later on. But for now, let's take a look at what he can do. So special move wise, a little bit of an adjustment here. Obviously it's now plus 30% damage, which is pretty good, and he still has that 40% paralysis, which is pretty nice. And obviously super helpful. In terms of his main ability, not too much has changed here as well. He's gained health restoration, which is pretty good. Increases his art card draw speed as well. His key remains the same, and he has the same attribute downgrade that he had before. In terms of his special skill, hasn't also been adjusted too much. Nullifies everything that's not a rising rush, basically. Reduces the damage received, gains a bit of key recovery, which I think is pretty good, and also obviously increases his strike damage a little bit more, which is also very nice. In terms of obviously his Zenkai ability, he has the ability to essentially boost a couple blast androids units with his purple boosting capabilities. We're looking at units like Legends Limited Cell, who did kind of need this, along with Android 21, who also boosts purple as well. So you have some nice cross synergy over there with two pretty solid Zenkai boosts. So that's, it's always pretty nice to see. Of course, beyond that, I would say there's not distinctively anything too crazy beyond those two units. Now in terms of his unique abilities, there hasn't been too much of a change. Well, I say that, but there's been quite a significant change. In his first capabilities, obviously got increased damage reduction. He's gained damage inflicted, which is all very good. In his second ability, he's basically just gained some additional effects to his cover change, which is really solid, and including health restoration defects, which is obviously pretty good. Then he gets two new abilities, which is quite nice. Basically, every time he uses a blast arts card, he restores his own key, inflicts enemies with an attribute downgrade, and obviously gives himself effects upon landing a blast arts hit, which I would say is all pretty good stuff. Just in terms of his capabilities. And then beyond that, I think his overall buffs were pretty good. Special move damage, and basically just some good kind of recovery. So it's always pretty interesting when a unit has different effects, differing on whether they do blast or strike arts. But I think that does kind of give him a little bit of malleability in terms of the teams that you want him to join. I think that's, at least for me, gives him a little bit of flexibility in terms of like his overall performance. So yeah, I would say for me at least, that's a pretty solid kind of functionality. Now of course, as with any Zenkai, there are the traditional methods with how to acquire power for the units. So you have, for example, obviously the Zenkai missions, those being 40%, which is pretty good. You then also have the Zenkai battle gauntlet being 3,000. I said 40%, being 4,000 Zenkai awakening power for the missions and 3,000 for the battle gauntlet, which is pretty good. And then obviously as well, you have the ability to summon for him using these Zenkai summons if you don't feel like putting in the effort, which is also fine. A lot of players don't, and that's okay. It does save those who don't want to quite a bit of time. And then of course, if you don't want to do any of that, you can go to the Hyperdimensional Co-op store, the Ultra Space Time Rush store, and you can take a look at obviously, acquiring him that way if you want to, which is something you can do later on when it refreshes. But I would say, yeah, beyond that, there's not anything too crazy. If you are looking at doing the battle gauntlet, I will have a video up about that. Remember, it is like 100 stages, so you do want to try and maximize that as much as possible. But yeah, that's basically kind of everything you need to know. Obviously, beyond summoning and that, there's no real easy way to acquire the well, I say easy, there's no way to acquire the Zenkai power without effort. So yeah, you are going to have to put an effort at some point to achieve this. In terms of the units, as mentioned, it's Android 21, and it is the good old Cell Legends Limited, which I think is pretty cool to get Cell a second Zenkai boost. I think that could make him interesting at least, and could be a decent enough option. But yeah, with that being said, I think that covers pretty much everything you need to know about the Zenkai. Like I said, looks definitely still more bench option than anything else, but at the same time could still be a worthwhile unit to a certain extent, as well. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do think there's a couple decent purple options here, so don't be scared to upgrade this guy if you have those units. Could be someone that can boost your team, and a bit of a mono purple team is always something that's quite consistently good in Legends. But that's it from me. Bye.